Hey, what's up everyone? This is Silver Slayer. Thank you for tuning into this video. Now, precious metals prices are rising. We see silver approaching the $17 area, and people are wondering where prices are headed in the near future. The short term isn't as bullish as people are hoping, but the medium to long term is extremely bullish. We're looking at $100+ silver in the next 3 to 5 years. In the next year or so, we're going to see mid-20s, we're saying, or some are speculating. So anyways, what are the reasons that are going to push silver prices higher? That's what this video is going to be talking about. So before we start, make sure to smash the like button. Make sure you're subscribed. I post daily videos every single day giving you the newest, latest, freshest information in the world of precious metals. So let's jump into it. Gold jumped towards its peak in April, when prices hit the highest since 2012, after bleak U.S. government data underscored how hard coronavirus-related shutdowns have hit the world's largest economy. Futures posted the highest close to a week since October 2012, after U.S. factory production plummeted in April by the most in record back to 1919, and a gauge of the U.S. retail sales plunged through the record set just a month earlier. Everybody must have realized it, but it's just more evidence that the reality is a pretty bleak economic picture right now. And that's definitely true. People are continuing to pile into gold because the weak economic picture is going to continue to drive interest rates lower. And you can see, I have a couple charts I'm going to show you coming up, and you can see that as the dollar deflates, as interest rates lower, as the world just turns more into a recession/depression, gold and silver almost directly correlate to higher prices. Gold futures for June delivery settled 0.9% higher at $1,756 an ounce as of 1:31 p.m. on the COMEX in New York, after climbing as much as 1.2%. Spot price topped their 52-week high, heading for the highest close since November 2012. Silver also got a stronger bid, rallying to the highest in over 2 months. The two precious metals have been lifted after the U.S. Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell warned earlier this week that the pandemic will take a heavy toll on the economy. Fears intensified on gloomy American unemployment data Thursday, and as President Donald Trump said he doesn't want to talk to his Chinese counterpart right now. Nations that enjoyed success quelling the virus, including South Korea and China, now face a rising number of infections. In the U.S., Texas saw its deadliest day and its biggest jump in new cases since the start of the outbreak. That comes 2 weeks after the controversial moves to reopen the state's economy. So, looks like a second wave of the virus is going to be rolling on through. This is getting people a little finicky, a little scared. There are fears over everything from political leadership through the health outlook overall and associated economic, financial, and political risk, said Ron O'Connell, head of the market analyst for EMEA and Asia INTL. Prices are having a long-awaited breakout moment as market anxiety mounts. This is definitely true. You can see breaking out. You see gold and silver both up. Silver is the red line, gold is the black line. Definitely breaking higher. Now, speaking of China, speaking of economic turmoil, these things that are affecting prices is definitely having to do with China being the second largest producer, exported goods, right? The second largest economy next to the United States is China. So China's pain is gold and silver's gain. Political hostility between the U.S. and China is increasing. Investors have responded to the threat by pushing gold and silver higher. Silver's latest breakout is further confirmation of gold's bull market, and that's definitely true. Silver is gold's little brother, so when gold breaks out, silver's going to break out too, just a couple weeks or couple months afterwards. So a recent spate of news concerning the deteriorating relations between U.S. and China has sent investors scurrying to the safety of the precious metals. In this report, we'll look at how financial market weakness and geopolitical concerns involving China typically result in higher gold prices. I'll make the case here that the latest trouble involving the U.S. and China will prove no exception, with gold's intermediate term 3 to 6 month rising trend expected to persist, and with silver prices finally showing sympathetic strength. The credit of the Roman money market, wrote Cicero, is intimately bound up with prosperity of Asia. A disaster cannot occur there without shaking our credit to its foundations. While this observation was made over 2,000 years ago regarding Republican Rome's dealings with its eastern provinces, his statement holds true today for Rome's modern-day heir apparent in the United States. Financial market setbacks and political disputes involving China always have severe repercussions for the U.S. financial market, as we've seen in several notable cases in the past several years. This, in turn, has obvious ramifications for flight to safety demand for precious metals, aka safe haven. That weakness in China's financial market is leading indicator for weakness here at home is demonstrated in the following graph, which compares the Shanghai Composite Index, the black line, with the S&P 500 Index, the yellow line. It further shows the tendency in recent years for weakness in China's stock market to precede weakness in the U.S. equity market with a lead time of several months. So, you can see the most recent example of China's stock market providing negative leadership for the U.S. market occurred in late January when international attention was centered firmly on China's experience with the virus. A quick 13% drop in Shanghai Composite preceded the 35% drop in the S&P X, the SPX, in the weeks that followed. For gold investors, the tendency for China's market to lead the U.S. has an especially profound implication, for whenever the world worries about China's economic outlook, it means that safe haven demand for the yellow metal will increase. This can be seen in the latest news headlines, which warn that U.S. is increasing military pressure against China using the pandemic as a pretext. So, over the last few weeks, U.S. Navy ships and Air Force B-1 bombers have undertaken missions aimed at sending a very public message that U.S. military intends to maintain a presence in South China Sea region and reassure allies. On top of the increased threat of war, investors also worry about President Trump's threatening action against Chinese companies with U.S.-listed ADRs, which don't comply with American accounting rules. Some observers have taken this as as veiled as publicly traded Chinese companies could be delisted in the U.S. at some point in the near future. Recent breakdown in diplomacy between U.S. and China hasn't been completely one-sided, as Beijing is reportedly preparing to retaliate against the U.S. as necessary punishment to politicians who have blamed China for the global pandemic. Details as to the nature of this retaliation are vague, but the previous metals market is reacting as if a threat is real. Indeed, as rumblings between both nations escalate, gold and silver prices have lately revived after the internal correction in both markets in the last few weeks. The front-month gold futures price gapped higher by 1.5% on May 14th and is within reach of its yearly gains, or the yearly highs. As previously discussed, as long as the gold price remains above its 50-day moving average, the blue line in the chart below, on a weekly closing basis, I regard the interim uptrend for gold as still being bullish. And it's definitely going to stay above that. It's looking like it's doing very well. Silver, meanwhile, has finally shown signs of life after lagging gold for the last several months. Silver futures prices finally broke out above 2-month chart resistance at the $16 level and is likely on its way to belatedly catching up to gold. I anticipate the white metal will be able to reach its February high around $19 level by June. Increased safety-related buying in the face of geopolitical events mentioned here has served the catalyst for silver's latest breakout, which suggests the market has strong psychological underpinning. Silver's recent breakout performance is even better news for gold investors, for gold has historically experienced its strongest bull markets when sister metal is confirming with sympathetic strength. Silver's breakthrough moment should accordingly be as supportive for gold demand as the continuation of deterioration U.S.-China political affairs, and with its political and financial market woes not likely to be resolved anytime soon. China's pain can truly be said to be precious metal investors' gain. A continued bullish intermediate term stance towards the yellow metal as well as towards silver is therefore warranted. So, definitely looking like gold and silver have the upper hand in all this. China's pain is gold and silver's gain. A lot of war talk, a lot of threats going on. I don't want to go too deep into that because, one, my video can get demonetized, and two, it's just really not the whole point of the video. The whole point is that precious metals are looking bullish. No matter what's happening, right now tensions are occurring, economic turmoil, the dollar decreasing, everything is turning towards, interest rates lowering, everything's turning towards higher gold and silver prices. So I'm curious how high you think gold and silver prices are headed. Do you think we're going to be heading to the $19 silver range, $20 silver range in the next couple months, or will we be back down to the $14, $15 range? Also with gold, are we going to hit that $2,000 mark, or are we going to go back down towards $1,500? I'm curious what you think. I definitely think in the next 3 to 6 months we're going to see $20+ silver. Next 3 to 5 years it could be as high as $100+. Definitely bullish things, and we're given the circumstances at bay. So anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did enjoy this video, make sure to smash the like button. Make sure you subscribe. I post daily videos. Thanks for tuning in. This was Silver Slayer. I'll see you guys soon. Peace.